Coach and I are going to be talking about DBs today. Corners, safeties, which is kind of my favorite position. It seems to me, what do you think? It seems to me that the NFL is obsessed with defensive linemen and wide receivers. And to me, I'm more into offensive linemen and cornerbacks because I think there are fewer good ones. It's harder to play the position, and they're reactive. They're reacting to the athlete in front of them, which makes it so tough. If you can find a good one, you got to get a good one. That's the way I look at it.
I do think I am a guy that does feel a strong defensive line is the way to build your team. I was fortunate to when I had really good defense, it was primarily because I had 4 really good guys up front. However, I think a secondary is really important. We've talked about before on how this game has so many advantages toward the offense, for the quarterback, for the receivers. So to me, we've talked about before how the game is much easier for receivers, which conversely makes it so much more difficult for the corners.
Exactly.
So it does make a great corner, or good corners, very important. I still believe I would build up front, but that's not to say that I wouldn't put a priority on corner too.
Absolutely. If you can get those big guys up front, they make everyone's job easier. The coordinator's job, the DB's job. Absolutely. So let's talk DBs though. Let's start with corners. What are the traits the Niners should look for in cornerbacks?
Okay, so I think where the league is going right now is, before, I think if you looked at corners, you didn't see as many of these big corners before. If you looked in front, like when you saw the 6'1" or the 6 foot guy, like, wow, that's a big corner. Like, oh, that guy, if he could run, he would fly up boards because he was a big corner. Now, if you look in this draft, there's a ton of size in this draft. You're talking about corners. So I think talking about size. But first and foremost, I would actually say the one position where I think speed is not rated is corner.
Agreed.
Because in the NFL, you're going to get beat at the corner position, and you're going to need the speed. That's the only way you're going to be able to recover from it. You're going to need speed to do so. So I think speed, change of direction. So change of direction, you're talking about that's agility, but this being talked about a lot, but it's agility and reaction time. Because it's not just, remember, when you're playing corner, it's not the same. We're not talking about the same change of direction as you're playing as an offensive position, because
that's right.
You know where this person is going. So it's not only with my body's ability to change direction, but how fast can I see it and then react to it?
Right.
Okay? So I think change of direction is a big thing.
Yeah.
And so then I think then you have to look at coverage and how he's playing within the scheme. Okay, so did he get beat because he's supposed to get beat because the safety is supposed to have his responsibility, or did he get beat because he blew something? Mm-hmm. So you have to look at don't just look at the corner itself, but you have to look at what is being played at the moment. Because I mean, remember that play we all looked at and we're like, Sherman blew it, and then Sherman was like, no, that was I think was it or someone else's responsibility. So you have to look at what they're doing within the scheme. I think in any defensive position, his eyes. I would look at what is he looking at? Okay,
especially in zone coverage.
Even in man. If it's man coverage, you should be looking at his man. You shouldn't be looking at the quarterback.
Correct. Yeah, right. So you got to be looking at the eyes one way or another. That's good.
Right. So and if we talk about other positions, we'll talk about this a lot because I'm a guys guy. I think eyes are the most important thing for a defender. So I'm looking at where is his eyes. If I can see it on tape, then I'm looking at that. And then I think to me, then tackling and ball skills are I put them kind of further down on the list, because honestly, a corner doesn't really get his hands on the balls a lot. It's more important to me where his body's going to position to deny the pass from even being thrown than can he pull this interception off. And then I think you're talking about the mental aspect of it is the resolve of the position. You have to be in position, we've talked about it before at the beginning of this list, is you're going to get beat. What's your resolve level to when you do get beat? How are you going to react?
Akello,
right.
Akello. Yeah.
I'm always my catchers. I'm telling my DBs. I always say stay frosty. I don't when I coach DBs up. I want them level headed. If they blow something, I'm not in their face. I just want to know what I want them to understand what happened, and then be able to move on and get on from it. Because if you can't let the same play beat you over and over and over again, especially at corner, and in the NFL, you're going to get beat. And then right tight end is confidence.
Yes.
How many corners have we've seen all-time corners are just their confidence level is just like
Sherman,
Dean,
Verrett.
They're all super.
Yeah.
You have to be. You. It's almost like you can't even believe that you even gotten beat. I know you laugh a lot. Like
no, it's the same in baseball. Like good hitters, they still get out 70% of the time, but every time they get into the batter's box, they have this confidence and look like I'm gonna get a hit, and if I don't get a hit, it's because of some fluke accident. It's the same thing.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of how we talk about if you've talked about it's not okay for Brady to act the way he is, but you understand that that's part of his mentality. He's so competitive that he can't even shake a guy's hand after the game.
If he loses, right?
If he loses,
he takes losses so hard, right?
Right. So for the corners to be that confident that they can't that they're going to be able to recover from being beat, they almost have to be that arrogant to say, hey, like it's impossible for me to get beat. Oh, I didn't blow that coverage. That was the grass.
Right. So let me summarize. We're talking you want size, you want speed, you want change of direction. Basically, you need a premium athlete. You can't sacrifice anywhere in terms of size, quickness, explosion. You can't sacrifice, because otherwise there's just certain wide receivers you can't match up with. And then to me, the final thing I would mention is from watching these guys in training camp. I don't have scouting experience, but I have a lot of training camp watching experience. You need to see how they cover man-to-man, one-on-one. Same thing with wide receivers. You can have a guy who has the side speed, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle. He checks the boxes. AJ Jenkins is one. And dude just can't get open. Or a corner, he just can't cover man-to-man. So it's the kind of like thing that's really easy to see. Can you cover man-to-man or not?
Agreed. But even in man-to-man, there's certain level of, I'm not a big one-on-one person, because I think there's ways you can use as a corner the leverage of the defense, because not all man-to-man is zero coverage, which is you're just man.
Right, of course. You
don't have any help. Yeah. So I think I like if you're gonna run man-to-man drills, for me particularly, I would still run it within the scheme of a full
I see what you're saying.
There,
I see what you're saying.
Because, if you have safety help, you should be forcing the guy out. You should be able to play inside.
Playing inside leverage. Yep.
Right. So I think there's still that. I mean, if a guy, that being said, if a guy is locking down, in one-on-ones, he's probably really, really good, because it's for a receiver to run the whole route, be able to run the whole route tree, and him to lock the receiver down, especially the good one. And I'm not there in practice, but is he doing it against or is he doing it against the River Craycraft?
Right. And that's the thing. Those drills are set up for the receiver to win. He can run triple moves. There's no safety help, whatever. If a wide receiver can't win in that context, I'm alarmed. That was AJ Jenkins. He couldn't beat anyone. And if a corner can win in that context, I'm impressed. That's all I'm saying. I'm impressed. Yeah.
Well, 100%. You should be. If a corner is locking down, especially guys you think are going to be there, guys that are going to be on the field, that would be impressive, and to be a guy that I would like. Oh,
yeah,
good.
And again, those are the kind of things you can see at the Senior Bowl. Those are the kind of things you can see on the All-22. It's helpful to have those things.